It's Monday, July 13th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. A dangerous hoax sent police racing to respond to what they thought was a kidnapping. Too many babies are facing risks when being put down to sleep each night.
Conditions will be primed for strong thunderstorms in parts of the Maritimes both Tuesday and Wednesday.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a fatal collision. 2 young people are dead and another left with serious injuries following a collision in Lunenburg County. The single vehicle crash happened just after dawn on Saturday on Highway 324 in Lilydale. When first responders arrived, they learned an SUV had veered off the road and hit a tree. The driver and a passenger died at the scene. A third occupant of the vehicle was airlifted to hospital in Halifax with serious conditions. The incident remains under investigation tonight. Police in New Brunswick are searching for a number of military artifacts stolen from an elderly veteran's home in broad daylight last week. Among the stolen items were various war medals and nearly $50,000 in cash. CTV's Avery McRae is at the police station in Oromocto. What can you tell us about this, Avery?
Todd, 91-year-old veteran Alan Kennedy did just about everything during his over 30 years of military service. He traveled all over the world as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, serving as a gunner before then joining the Black Watch and Canadian Airborne Regiment, collecting no shortage of memorabilia along the way, some of which was stolen when 3 people broke into his home. It was sometime after lunch when 2 males and 1 female entered his Nasonworth home through the unlocked front door. While Alan Kennedy did not want to appear on camera, he recalls being restrained to a chair with his hands tied behind with zip ties as the trio looted the home for 15 minutes before leaving. He later managed to free himself and went next door to call for help as the suspects ripped out all of his phone cords. Among the stolen items were various war medals and memorabilia, a Gukrek Gurkha war knife from overseas gifted to him by a friend while serving, and around $45,000 in cash. He says the thieves also planned to steal a near-complete collection of Royal Canadian Mint coins, but left the bag behind, which is now in the hands of the RCMP as part of the investigation. While police were not available to speak on camera, they tell CTV the investigation is ongoing. All 3 suspects are described as tall, thin people who spoke English, who covered their faces during the robbery. Police remind the public of several measures that can be taken to avoid a break-in, like locking windows and doors even when at home, installing cameras or security alarms, keeping valuable items away from windows that can be seen from outside, and to look out for your neighbors. When I asked Alan Kennedy how he was doing in the days since the robbery, he admits his mental health hasn't been the best. He says he has had troubles falling asleep as his mind races about what has become of his prize collection, which has enormous sentimental value. Avery McRae, CTV News, Oromocto, New Brunswick.
Now to a frightening incident this morning. Halifax police raced to respond to what a caller said was a shooting and a hostage-taking, a dangerous scenario that turned out to be a hoax and rattled everyone involved. CTV's Emma Convey has the details.
There was a heavy police presence at an apartment complex in Bedford early Monday morning. But not for criminal activity that happened here. It was all a hoax.
Received a call from a man stating he lives at a complex on River Lane in Bedford. The caller stated that he had shot his father and was holding his mother hostage at gunpoint.
Upon arrival, police evacuated the complex and got a hold of the individual they believed to be the caller, as well as their parents. It was confirmed all were safe and determined the call was fake.
We don't believe that it's a random incident. We believe that the person who we believed was the caller, we believe he was targeted due to an online dispute.
Police say the investigation is still ongoing, but this call came from the United States. Incidents like this are called swatting. It's when someone makes a false report that prompts a significant police response.
We've definitely seen a rise in these incidents. You know, they are fairly common. You just don't hear the headlines about it. And thankfully, the loss of life has been low, but not zero.
Security expert David Shipley says there's normally motivation behind these attacks.
It's usually financial, maybe it's revenge, could be a form of extended intimate partner violence in some cases, but there's usually an underlying issue driving someone to escalate to this point.
He explains that technology and artificial intelligence makes these calls more believable, so the modernization of our telecommunication systems like 911 are needed.
We simply cannot take for granted that a number that appears is actually coming from HRM, for example. And yeah, that's the reality is everything that we can do to try and mitigate this risk comes with some cost. It comes at cost for taxpayers for more advanced IT systems and other things. And it comes at some sacrifices around individual privacy.
Every call to police is taken seriously until proven it's not dangerous. Fake calls tie up police resources. Emma Convey, CTV News, Bedford.
In Prince Edward Island, RCMP seized fentanyl and cocaine during a traffic stop. We have the details at our website now, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. It's not exactly leading-edge technology. It's being used in other maritime cities. So why is it that Halifax transit riders still can't tap and pay to ride city buses and ferries? The system was supposed to be in place last fall. CTV's Callum Smith looks at the holdup.
Sometimes coins may get stuck or people don't have the exact change. Those issues could arise when paying Halifax transit fares. But there's also an app or ticket books that can be purchased. Still, Mayor Andy Fillmore says tap to pay is a very important addition to the mix, so riders have the right to be frustrated that the rollout is delayed.
It is well behind the times. This is not new technology. This is proven technology that's been around for at least a decade. I'm as frustrated as anybody.
During budget deliberations, councillors opted to increase transit fares from $3 to $3.25 starting late September, so they decided to roll out tap to pay at the same time. But a new report to council tomorrow says that's not possible now, and late December is the new target. Staff say the delay is recommended to allow sufficient time for development and integration work to ensure the system meets required performance, reliability, security, and user experience standards. Visitors who spoke to CTV were caught off guard to learn exact change or an app are needed.
I'm kind of surprised. I did live in Toronto for a long time, and we've had tap there for as long as I can remember.
I'm from Vancouver. I mean, for us, we actually use the credit cards and interact or non-payment for taps, and it's very convenient, especially for visitors who don't have time or don't know where to go to grab any change or to get a cards or anything like that.
I'm visiting, and I actually downloaded the app because trying to find $5 to get out to the airport, that's always a bit of a challenge. Yeah, but the app was simple.
Fillmore says he'll ask councillors to support an alternative motion to delay the fare increase until TAP is ready, which would cost about $290,000 of revenue. The deputy mayor says it's important to get TAP right, especially with heightened cybersecurity concerns.
My focus is really going to be on making sure that what the system offers is secure, is reliable, and does have a good user experience.
Now, questions about the delay and about why other cities have TAP and Halifax is not. The deputy mayor says those will likely be asked of staff tomorrow. As for that fare increase, that 25-cent hike that was supposed to take effect in September, council could continue on the course with that, or they could opt to delay that as well. Todd.
All right, Callum, at a bus stop in Halifax for us this evening. Thank you. Nova Scotia's 25th Premier has died. John Hamm served in the role from 1999 to 2006. A physician in Pictou, Dr. Hamm, as many knew him, was first elected MLA in 1993. Later, he took his Progressive Conservative Party as leader from third spot to majority government. He retired from politics 20 years ago. Premier Tim Houston wrote today, "I will remember Premier Hamm for his quiet strength, his dignity, and for his determination to improve the lives of the people he served." Nova Scotia's flag will be lowered at Province House and all provincial buildings in recognition of Dr. Hamm. Is it time to go paperless? Halifax City Council is considering it. In the last municipal election, the vast majority of votes were cast electronically. So is there any point of putting pencil to pen? Here's CTV's Jesse Thomas.
Halifax voters might not vote with a pencil and paper again, as municipal council is looking at doing away with paper ballots and going to an electronic system. That's the recommendation in a report coming to council for debate Tuesday.
I'm not sure how safe it would be. Otherwise, I think it could be okay.
The recommendation is to eliminate paper ballots in favor of telephone and internet voting from a computer or smartphone, something which the municipality says voters seem to favor already. In the most recent 2024 municipal election, nearly 124,000 people voted, and nearly 70% did so electronically compared to 30% who voted by paper ballot.
HRM has utilized alternative voting since 2008 and has seen a fairly consistent increase in the usage of alternative internet voting.
Halifax's chief returning officer says offering both paper and electronic voting is like running two separate elections at once, requiring separate staffing, logistics, and processes. But the proposed changes, he says, would not eliminate in-person voting, but polling locations would still remain, allowing voters to use electronic devices instead of paper ballots.
Given the fact that more and more people are voting electronically and it hasn't hurt the turnout rate, it's important for us to then say, okay, if the democratic function is working, are cost savings possible?
According to the report, eliminating paper ballots would save an estimated $450,000 in the next election. But some argue the most important issue is getting more people engaged in municipal politics.
We have to find a way to look at citizenship beyond the ballot box. We should all be active, everyday, engaged citizens.
The 2024 election saw just over 36% of eligible voters cast a ballot. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
It's a beautiful day at Peggy's Cove, 24 degrees, plenty of tourists, plenty of sunshine as we bring in meteorologist Kaylin Mitchell to take a look at the forecast. A beautiful day out there.
Yeah, probably about as perfect as conditions as you would expect for a July evening out of the Peggy's Cove area. Other parts of the Maritimes, though, seeing some showers move in. That's happening right now in northern areas of New Brunswick. A low risk of some small thunderstorms within those showers. And then as we move through this evening, those will sink further south in the province towards the Fredericton area. Overnight, those showers coming across Prince Edward Island and into Cape Breton. Now, as we take a look at the weather pattern right now going on across North America, it's really being dominated by this large heat dome that's stretching from the U.S. Southwest and extending all the way up towards the Great Lakes area. So yes, if we started off this week here in the Maritimes, we've had some heat in place, but nowhere near the level that other parts of the country are contending with right now. And that does still include parts of the south of Saskatchewan, but mostly southern Manitoba, where you can see right now Winnipeg sitting at 34 degrees. And that heat and humidity is really built into parts of Ontario right now. Thunder Bay, 38 degrees at the moment. You can see low 30s and feeling very, very humid right now across parts of southern Ontario. So we're not really going to be getting into the core of that heat and humidity, though it is still going to be plenty warm, and our humidity is going to be coming up as we make our way into Tuesday. But what's happening is we have a cold front that's moving through that Tuesday to Wednesday time frame, and that's going to knock humidity levels down and actually even cool off temperatures a little bit as we head towards the end of this week, the Thursday, Friday time frame. Here's the thing with that cold front, though. As it arrives over the next couple of days, it is going to be bringing a risk of thunderstorms with it, and because of the daytime heat and humidity that will have built up, some of those thunderstorms could become quite powerful. We'll talk more about that, Todd, when I'm back just a little bit later on.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that in about 15 minutes, full forecast. Thank you, Kaylin. A report out today warns social media is promoting unsafe information to parents about how to safely put baby to bed. New Brunswick's Child Death Review Committee has been tracking what it calls an alarming increase in cases. CTV's Nick Moore has the details.
The Office of the Chief Coroner made this report public today from the Child Death Review Committee. It has found that over a span of nearly 6 years, there have been 20 deaths in New Brunswick associated with unsafe sleeping practices for infants. According to the report, unsafe infant sleep practices were either a direct cause or contributing factor to 36% of all deaths of children under the age of 2 between January 1st, 2020 and September 11th, 2025. The report is being made public today, but the review committee says it's been an issue on their radar for a few years now.
we ended up deciding that we had enough data. We have enough time spent that we know this is a trend, that we know this is not getting any better.
The committee also focused its review on what it called the growing influence of social media narratives that are promoting some of these unsafe sleeping practices.
Parents nowadays are exposed to a lot of information, sometimes conflicted advice on social media, and some of that advice is not found in any kind of research. Although well-intended, sometimes it doesn't provide good and solid information.
Federal health authorities recommend that infants sleep alone on their backs in a crib, cradle, or bassinet, free of blankets, pillows, and toys. Public Health in New Brunswick has been using ABC as part of its public awareness campaign on the topic, that babies should sleep alone on their back in a safe crib. Altogether, the committee has 6 recommendations, one of which was the public release of the review, along with stronger messaging for parents and training across child welfare services and public health. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. Andrews.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
We often hear of food banks in the Maritimes that need help filling shelves, but we don't often hear about the ones that have been robbed. And that was the case recently at a volunteer center in rural New Brunswick. CTV's Derek Haggett was there today.
It's been a little over a week since the food bank in Port Elgin was robbed, but people here are still upset about it.
We would much rather people ask us than take.
The food bank's executive director says someone broke in on the night of July 3rd. Meat, fresh produce, snacks, soap, toilet paper, and even dog food were stolen in large quantities.
I think they're at their wits' end with maybe their lifestyle, maybe their jobs, maybe 100 reasons, I don't know.
In a statement to CTV News, the mayor of Strait Shores says the break-in is deeply disappointing and upsetting. It is difficult to understand why anyone would target an organization whose sole purpose is to support individuals and families in need. We hope those responsible are identified and held accountable for their actions through the appropriate legal process. The RCMP is investigating, but there have been no arrests as of yet. The food bank serves around 130 homes in the area.
They keep everything confidential. Everybody could use it. No questions asked. So to break in and do a little bit of damage to the locks and take what you need wasn't required.
We never turn anybody away.
Support from other food banks and residents in the area and across Canada have helped restock the shelves, as well as continuing support from Feed MB. Mayor Boyd also says the municipality will be reaching out to the RCMP to reestablish discussions about public safety and police presence here in the community. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Port Elgin, New Brunswick.
Time for our first break of the evening. Still to come, we'll have a look at the weather for the week, a maritime mayor's warnings about threats, but first, a preventable death.
Providers, we're turning a blind eye.
We go to PEI, where a new law hopes to save young people in the future. Stay with us.
This is the Campfire Conditions Report brought to you by Pine Acres RV, where customers become friends with a hot, dry start to the week. Campfires are currently not allowed in the province of New Brunswick. In Nova Scotia, there is a mix of restrictions. First of all, in the counties of Annapolis, Kings, Hants, Queens, Lunenburg, and Halifax, campfires are not permitted. The rest of the province, campfires are permitted between 7 p.m. and 8 a.m. And for the province of Prince Edward Island, campfires are currently permitted, with domestic brush burning allowed between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 a.m. Be sure to check in on any municipal restrictions and bylaws as well.
It was a crime that shook Prince Edward Island, a murder-suicide 6 years ago that took the life of a young girl. The province's child and youth advocate concluded her death was preventable, and many opportunities to save her were missed. CTV's Maria Saru has more.
Olivia Rod was just 9 years old when she was murdered by her mother in Charlottetown in 2020. An investigation says she should still be here, but various people and services didn't act on 12 opportunities to protect her. And without change, the same gaps could put another young person at risk.
It could happen again.
Olivia's family had years of contact with child protection, police, and healthcare providers. But the report says warning signs were missed, misunderstood, or not communicated.
We began to see certain patterns that became more disturbing. Providers were turning a blind eye, and there were many misconceptions.
Various service providers failed to fulfill their legal obligation to report concerns to child protection. Some thought they had to verify the risk first. Others were worried about breaching privacy rules. Another issue was information sharing. Different agencies had different pieces of Olivia's story, but no one put them together in time. And her mother's care was too often put ahead of Olivia's safety.
Part of the problem is with many of the professionals, they seem to wear blinders. So their allegiance was solely to supporting the mother in terms of her mental health.
The advocate is calling for Olivia's Law, one clear piece of legislation allowing service providers to share information about a child or family member without consent when they believe it's in the child's best interests. In a statement, PEI's Department of Social Development and Seniors says it's committed to fully implementing the report's recommendations, and that since the tragic loss, the province has introduced a new Child and Family Services Act with strengthened reporting rules and enhanced training.
The advocate wants Olivia's Law introduced in the legislature's next fall session. He's also calling for written responses from government, police, and other agencies within 1 year. Maria Sru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
We're down to the semifinals now at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. CTV, TSN, Crave, your home for the coverage, and that will impact our shows this week. Tomorrow and Wednesday, CTV News at 5 and CTV News at 6 will move to CTV 2. You're pretty used to that by now, right? You can scan the QR code on the screen or go to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to get the details. England, Argentina, they kick off at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We're on CTV 2 at 5 and 6. Kaylin is next. Hello, St. John. You're currently under, Kaylin, as I look out towards the harbor there, is that fog?
That's got to be some fog sitting out there over the bay. Yeah,
I was going to say blue skies, but further out it's not.
Yeah, and the southwest wind, it's just looking for its opportunity to get back in there.
They had a nice day in the port city, like much of the region.
Yeah, it is the southwest wind. It is a little bit more onshore at the Bay of Fundy waters for St. John. You are likely to see that fog move towards the coastline as we go through tonight, and temperature is going to be a little bit more moderate compared to other parts of the Maritimes because of the continuing southwest wind. But I want to talk about the potential for thunderstorms coming up for tomorrow. So we have an acronym in meteorology when it comes to evaluating thunderstorms, and that acronym is MIST. Stands for moisture, instability, shear, and a trigger. Now, moisture and instability is basically the energy available or needed to get strong thunderstorms to develop. And we're going to take a look at that here on this map, and that's going to be represented in through the bright colors, the reds into the yellows and the oranges. Now, trigger, or what's going to start lifting that warm, humid air from the surface up higher into the atmosphere to get those thunderstorms started, that's going to be our cold front, which is this blue line with the triangles. So we've got that energy, we've got that cold front. They're both sort of coming together in the vicinity of parts of Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick for tomorrow. And at the same time, when it comes to the wind shear, we have some stronger winds that are going to be developing just aloft in the atmosphere. And that's going to increase the potential that some of these thunderstorms that develop on Tuesday, and the risk extends basically from the northeastern United States all the way through parts of Ontario, Quebec, and here into the Maritimes, could have some rotation with them. And rotating thunderstorms, higher risk of becoming severe, and it's typically rotating thunderstorms that produce tornadoes, though not all rotating thunderstorms will produce a tornado. So the risk, or where those ingredients are coming together tomorrow in the Maritimes, is mostly in New Brunswick. That's where we'll have our highest risk of severe thunderstorms, and mostly Tuesday afternoon through the evening hours. So there is a lower risk that some thunderstorms could drift towards Prince Edward Island and parts of Nova Scotia as we move through Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. With any developing thunderstorms for tomorrow, don't take any chances with them. Head inside and wait them out. There's a high risk that they could include some strong local wind gusts in the vicinity of the thunderstorm, 90 kilometers per hour, downpours, and a lower risk, but a risk nonetheless, of some hail, and because of the rotation, tornado. Now, it's a low risk for tornado again, but you don't want to take any chances with those storms on Tuesday. Have a way to monitor for any alerts issued by Environment Canada. Check in your weather watches and warnings because the situation with thunderstorms changes quickly. Now for tonight, we have that round of showers drifting across northern and central areas of New Brunswick, and that'll move across Prince Edward Island, Cape Breton in the early morning hours of Tuesday. Other parts of the Maritimes partly cloudy with fog patches, and then moving into the afternoon, warm, humid, well, hot and humid conditions build away from the coast, and then we have that front making its way towards the St. Lawrence River Valley and through Quebec, and it's at that point in time when we're going to get into the risk of seeing those thunderstorms develop in the province of New Brunswick. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight are quite warm, mostly in the range of 15 to 19 degrees. Here's a look at the highs for tomorrow. Across the north of New Brunswick, between 27 and 29, but feeling well into the 30s with the humidity in the air. 32 for Fredericton for tomorrow, likely feeling near 38 with the humidex, and then 29 for Moncton. There's the effect of that southwest wind around the Bay of Fundy coastline. Should keep St. John, at least the city center, around 22. Prince Edward Island for tomorrow with high temperatures, mostly mid to high 20s, feeling into the 30s with the humidity, 22 on parts of the coast. Eastern areas of Nova Scotia with high temperatures in the low to mid 20s, and it's going to be mostly mid to high 20s for northern and central parts of the province, except low to mid 20s on the Atlantic coastline. And once again, that's because of the southwest wind. Hot and humid for the Annapolis Valley for tomorrow, interior areas of the southwest, and then moving towards the south shore, high temperatures of 22 to 25 degrees. In the extended forecast for New Brunswick, lower chance of showers Wednesday and Thursday, temperature and humidity coming down through the end of the week. Sunshine to get the next weekend started, followed by chance of showers on Sunday. For Nova Scotia in the outlook, we've got showers, the risk of thunderstorms on Wednesday, a lower chance of showers on Thursday, temperature, humidity coming down towards the end of the week. Nice start to next weekend. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud, and a chance of showers on Sunday. And for Prince Edward Island, the forecast, risk of thunderstorms next couple of days, late on Tuesday, but then generally during the day on Wednesday. Lower chance of a shower on Thursday, mix of sun and cloud Friday and Saturday, followed by a chance of showers on Sunday. Todd.
Kaylin, heard from the province of Nova Scotia that there is a wildfire in the area of Bear River. And you were mentioning thunderstorms, lightning strikes, obviously, that come with that. Concern for wildfires because of that? Has it been dry enough?
Yeah, I mean, there's always concern when we've got big thunderstorms moving through with lots of lightning with them, that the lightning could act as an ignition for new wildfires in the region.
Yeah, okay. And you're saying we're going to watch for those thunderstorms, what, tomorrow through the day?
New Brunswick mostly tomorrow, Tuesday afternoon and evening, and then there's a lower risk Tuesday evening and Tuesday night that a few thunderstorms could drift into parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia.
Okay, we'll keep close watch of that. Thank you very much. We'll see you towards the end of the show. Next, we'll ask the Mayor of Yarmouth why she's taken to social media with an appeal for civility. Stay with us. We've heard time and time again how politicians are being harassed online. Well, a mayor of one maritime community has stepped forward to tell her story of intimidation and threats. Pam Mood is the mayor of Yarmouth, and she joins us this evening from her office. It's nice to see you, Mayor.
Nice to see you too, Todd.
Look, you're not new at this game. You've been around politics for some time. Your Facebook post is essentially titled, "Thank You Block Button." You've had numerous online accounts that you've blocked. Tell us why.
You know, I got to the point where I thought after 14 years, I wish I had done this from day one. I have no problem with a difference of opinion, you know, folks that are upset with what's going on, but to actively, you know, use abusive words and, you know, hate is just, nobody should put up with that. This just isn't about politicians. This is about everyone. So, you know, online, I just said, no more, no more. We'll just block them.
Okay. Criticism, complaints, perhaps even threats of some sort are not new, I'm sure. But what's changed?
I think what's changed is the gosh, I don't even know what the word was, but a little bit of it's common sense. I feel like everything has just let loose. Folks think that they can say what they want to say, and the answer is, under free speech, certainly I can do this, and my answer is no, you can't. There's a difference between free speech and abuse and harassment, and certainly, death threats. So no, you can't do that, but I think, nobody is really taking the bull by the horns and saying, here are the repercussions.
And you've had death threats.
Oh, I have from day one. I just can't believe it. It's not like you're making $1 million or doing anything wrong. We live in our communities. We're elected from here. We want the best for our communities as well and for our families. So, to say you're going to come up behind me at night when I'm not looking and snap my neck, burn my house down with me in it, okay, but my grandchildren come to visit as well. That really was a red flag. I said, this is just going too far. And various other death threats, and I can handle them. What I'm saying is I shouldn't have to. And my fear, honestly, Todd, my fear is for the future of these positions where every day I have someone call and say, I would love to do this, but I would never step foot into that mess, not to save my life. And I can't blame them.
So now you're saying the province needs to tackle this. What are you asking of them?
Well, I don't know that I'm asking the province to do this. I'm just saying there needs to be some legislation. How do we word that? I wouldn't know how to go about it, and I'm not throwing this at the province. I'm just saying, is it federal? Is it provincial? Is it local? How do you tackle something and put something in place without taking away citizens' rights to complain, to voice their opinions? Just the hate and the threats need to stop. So, that would take some work to figure that out, because everyone will scream, she's trying to take away my rights.
Yeah, okay.
For a second.
Okay, well, let's dig in a bit on that. You've been a lawmaker for a long time now. Where would you draw the line? How or who would decide what's offensive?
My goodness, that's a good one. A threat to someone's life is certainly offensive. It's offensive. Not just offensive, it's illegal, I believe, federally, death threats. So that may be okay. But past that, one time saying something, 2 times saying something, I'd say, 3 strikes, you're out. That's harassment. You can make a mistake, but if you continually come at an individual or individuals, that's where I would draw the line. And it's not just, I hate you. I mean, my answer to that is, get in line. But it's the name calling. Like I know, just vulgar language that shouldn't be out in public.
Mayor, you meet with your colleagues regularly. You're at those municipality meetings. Is this something that's talked about? And is this more of an issue, do you think, for women in public office?
Yes and yes. We talk about this continually, and I think the reason I decided to even speak about this, Todd, is because I get so many calls. I think as the senior mayor, or one of the senior mayors in the province, the longest standing, I get a lot of calls weekly. I had 2 today. Last week I had 5 calls from various elected officials, men and women, by the way, who just said, this is what I'm dealing with. Like, how are you doing it? And what should I do to lessen this? It's affecting my family and affecting everyone. And so we have to talk about these things. I can give advice, but until there's something in place that says, this is just not going to work anymore. And that includes, the social media platforms. What are they doing? And think about, our youth and people under, mental health conditions. What is all this ugly doing for them? It's really sad. It's sad and ridiculous.
Mayor, you mentioned it. It's a conversation. We certainly appreciate you coming on and starting that with us tonight. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay, so coming up on the show tomorrow, another chance to win some tickets to get out to see the Jonas Brothers.
We will give you 3 opportunities to win those tickets.
And you could win $50 to St. Louis Bar and Grill around 7:30.
Let's take a look at medical news. There's an Ozempic and Wegovy mistake that's increasing calls to poison control. CTV's Amanda Debison has the details in tonight's edition of The Lifeline.
A new study finds the surge in use of drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy has been accompanied by a surge in preventable calls to poison control. Researchers at the University of Texas, San Antonio looked at calls to poison control before and after 2021. That's the year U.S. officials first approved those GLP-1 drugs to be used for chronic weight management alongside diabetes. Before that switch, the call centers got roughly 1,000 to 1,500 calls about GLP-1s. The figure had reached more than 8,000 calls by 2023. The authors say most cases stem from unintentional dosing errors. They argue better patient education around weight loss drugs is crucial to reduce preventable mistakes. Canada's health agency says a cyclospora outbreak in Michigan has not spread here. Michigan has reported a little more than 1,200 cases, far above the 50 usually seen in a year, and that its source remains unknown. Experts say the outbreak could be linked to contaminated food sold or prepared locally, and that tracing it is difficult because symptoms can take weeks to appear. Cyclospora can cause weeks of watery diarrhea and stomach symptoms, but it does not spread directly from person to person. Finally, your teen just got a concussion. Should you take their phone away? New research says the answer may surprise you. In a report from the British Journal of Sports Medicine, teens with a new concussion who had around 2.5 hours of daily screen time recovered 35% faster than those with more or less screen time. Researchers suggest that moderate screen time keeps youth socially connected and mentally engaged, which may support recovery without worsening symptoms. Still, experts say this is only one study, and the results should be taken with a grain of salt. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for The Lifeline.
In entertainment news, the star of Jurassic Park, the piano, and recently Peaky Blinders, actor Sam Neill died suddenly this morning in Australia at the age of 78. NBC's Kaylee Harding takes a look back.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant. For millions of film lovers, Sam Neill was Dr. Alan Grant.
Don't move. You can't see us if we don't move.
The reluctant hero who brought heart, humor, and humanity to Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park.
They're moving in herds.
The global blockbuster made him an international star, cementing his place in cinematic history.
Don't move.
But the 78-year-old's career stretched far beyond dinosaurs.
I'm going on board her.
From the thriller Dead Calm.
Can you hear me?
To Oscar-winning film The Piano. The actor, born in Northern Ireland and raised in New Zealand, built a remarkable career spanning more than 5 decades, becoming one of the most recognizable and respected actors of his generation. More recently, appearing on Netflix acclaimed series Peaky Blinders.
You just wanted to show me that you know where I live, isn't that it?
Cillian Murphy praised his work in an interview earlier this year.
I adored working with Sam Neill in Series 1. He's one of my favorite people in the world.
And even in his 70s, Neill showed no interest in slowing down, joking about retirement on Today 2 years ago.
I never want to retire because I love my work so much. What do you do in retirement? You play golf.
And just last month, sharing a post at Australia's ARIA Hall of Fame. His family announcing the news of his sudden and unexpected passing. In a statement writing, Sam was surrounded by family and passed with the dignity that has characterized his whole life. In recent years, Neill opened up about his battle with blood cancer, sharing earlier this year that he was cancer-free, telling Australia's Channel 7 in a recent interview,
There is no cancer in my body. This is an extraordinary thing.
The beloved actor's death shocking fans around the world, leaving behind a legacy of memorable performances that will continue to captivate audiences for generations to come.
Also owned a very successful winery in New Zealand. That report from Kaylee Harding of NBC News. Here's what's on CTV tonight.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Hey, you can win $1,000 in under 60 seconds every weekday at 7.
That's when we play $1,000 Minute. Your chance to win $1,000 with us.
Okay, we had a glitch as we went to commercial. We didn't get to run the primetime schedule. You may have heard the jingle, but in case you're wondering, the big show tonight, American Ninja Warrior at 9 o'clock. All right. On the markets, the Dow began this new trading week down 138 points. Another Chinese car manufacturer is looking at selling electric vehicles in Canada. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has details.
Dongfeng is a state-owned car maker. It's in the process of certifying its cars in Canada. The company wants to bring 2 of its models to this country by next year. It's one of several Chinese companies trying to break into the market after the Prime Minister decided to allow up to 49,000 Chinese-made EVs to be sold here at a lower tariff rate. 12 states are trying to stop Paramount Skydance from acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery. The lawsuit's being led by California, but includes New York, New Jersey, and Arizona. The states argue the merger would lead to higher prices and lower quality film and television. Together, Paramount and Warner would control about a third of films and about a third of TV programming. The CEO of Volkswagen is raising the possibility of cutting another 50,000 jobs. That would be on top of the 50,000 layoffs already planned as part of a cost-cutting measure. Volkswagen sales have fallen in China, and its production in Germany is being hit by American tariffs. VW also owns Porsche and Audi and currently employs about 657,000 people around the world. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar really hasn't changed. It's at 70.64 U.S. West Texas Intermediate up over $6 to 78.14. Western Canadian Select is down to 57.03, and the TSX lost 52 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Okay, gloomy day in business, but not outside.
Yeah, it's a warm and breezy evening out here on the weather deck, and it's a southwest wind, so we're going to continue to see some humidity climb in the region as we make our way through tonight. Let's take a look at our viewer picture for tonight, and it goes to this past weekend. There's a beautiful shot here of a rainbow. In fact, it's a double rainbow sent in from Karen Millette, taken at Stanley, New Brunswick. I want to thank Karen very much for taking the time to share this with us. As for the Stanley area for tomorrow, first thing in the morning, there might be a few fog patches around, and then in the afternoon, it's going to be hot and humid, high temperature 27 degrees, but feeling into the 30s with the humidity. And then there's that risk of thunderstorms. Not going to be widespread. They'll be hit and miss with their coverage, but because of the approaching front and the heat and humidity that will have built up throughout the day, there is a risk tomorrow in New Brunswick that any occurring thunderstorms could become severe. Day planner for tomorrow across the Maritimes will feature partly cloudy conditions and fog patches first thing in the morning. There'll be some showers that'll be clearing out of Prince Edward Island and Cape Breton. And then in the afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud around the region, hot and humid away from some coastal areas, and then that risk of some thunderstorms. In New Brunswick in particular, Tuesday afternoon and evening, a lower risk evening and night for both Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. Here's what's ahead on your Morning Atlantic.
Tuesday on your Morning Atlantic, poison precautions.
The folks from Child Safety Link will be here with some helpful tips on how to keep your kids safe from common summer poisons.
Start your morning with us Tuesday on your Morning Atlantic on CTV2 and Crave.
Finally tonight, if you're in Denmark this week, be sure to say, of course, Merry Christmas. Why? Because dozens of Santas and Mrs. Clauses and elves from around the world are in the country. They're in the fourth largest city. I believe it's pronounced Aalborg. They're there for the World Santa Claus Congress. Yes, that's a thing. It's a midsummer tradition there, popular with families and all the shopping mall Santas from around the world looking for more time as the big man show up to dress up in the summer. That is our look at the day here at home tonight. Bruce Frisco is here at 11:30. The web and the app have the updates. I'm Todd Battis. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.